What's up, YouTube? It's the Mudface. Coming at you on a Saturday morning, August 22nd. I didn't plan on doing a brief today, but a lot happened last night. So I'm going to do a quick rundown, how it affects you, what you can do. First, let's start off by saying, hey, YouTube, I'm not selling anything dangerous. Also, for the YouTube overlords, do not go and challenge your local, state, federal laws by doing anything illegal and tell them that the Mudface told you to do so, because I am telling you here not to do so. Yeah. Also, go to refugemedical.org as of sundown tonight. Follow the link in my description. They are shut down for Shabbat on Saturdays. If you go there through my link and purchase any training and enter the code LIFE30, I think it is, you can get 30% off training. That's not my code. That's a better code than I got for Wilderness Responder. All gear, enter code MUDFACE, all caps, MUDFACE, in all capitals, shout it into the coupon box, and you'll get yourself 10% off. But more importantly, my commission goes back to help Caleb House, www.calebwithak.house.org. Help restore broken kiddos. Okay, so the reason that I'm doing this is there was a lot of crap that happened yesterday, late. I covered a little bit in my short last night, the X-Quick Hitters. If you haven't watched those, I think they're fire, but hey, who am I? I'm just the Mudface, the monster they've made. So, biggest story of the day. Trump announced he has made a deal with foreign countries to import some beef to ease pricing at the grocery stores. Well, on the surface, sounds like a good thing. However, the question is, where is the beef coming from? And he won't tell us. So when they're not transparent, that's how the rumor mill, the conspiracy theory junkies, that's how they kind of get started. So rumors are, it's lab-grown beef. Rumor 2, they're rounding up a bunch of wild horses and sending them to the slaughterhouse. Rumor 3, and probably the most likely, a few months back, I think it was about 8 weeks ago, China rejected 22 tons of Argentinian beef due to testing positive for dangerous neurotoxins and illegal carcinogenic antibiotics. This isn't the first time that Argentinian beef has been rejected by China for this antibiotic. And supposedly in Argentina, it is illegal. And yet it keeps showing up. So, the more accurate speculation is that Argentina, President Javier Milei, who looks a lot like other people prominent in the world, looks a lot like, oh wait, he's Jewish? Go figure. Looks a lot like Bibi. Anyhow, that President Trump and Javier Milei got together, and Trump said, Javier, I know China, Xi Jinping, they said they don't want your beef, but I got a situation, and I'm willing to overlook the chemicals, and we'll import your beef for a reduced price. Again, I don't have the hair to do the Don. So, what can you do about this? Find a local beef supplier. Preferably somebody who grows and processes their own. I fortunately have one of those nearby. I actually have pretty good relationships with some of the ownership of that company. I have not leveraged that relationship yet to procure any special favors, but let's just say that company and my company, they're good friends. So yeah, you gotta find yourself a local supplier. Don't be buying meat off the shelves at your Kroger, at your well, now Kroger Eagle, at your Albertsons, at your Save-A-Lots, at your Shop and Saves, that because you don't know where that meat's coming from and what's in it. And I think it's more important with last night's announcement more than any time ever before. So then we're going to move on to Gary, Indiana, and why we're only focused on the town of Gary and not the surrounding areas, the small hamlets and villages. What am I, Italian? Hey, it's a good year. It's a good year blimp. Give me a second here. I'll see if I can show you. Goodyear blimp is in the air. We're going to go back to that. It was just there, trust me. I'm not BSing you. Oh, you can just kind of see it there above the tree line. It is facing in the same direction as we are. Now that I've gotten you thoroughly car sick, and you're probably not even in a car, I guess they're heading up to Cleveland. NFL preseason game. Gotta get my bread and circuses in. My beer and football. Probably won't watch a game this year. And I was a big football fan. Anyhow, so Gary, Indiana, and all these surrounding hamlets and villages are suffering still from power outages now, day 11. After historic storms. Why do we keep hearing that? Like every storm anymore is historic. What's your plan for power outages? Extended power outages. You have a solar generator, which is just a big battery backup. Do you have a gas generator? Do you have fuel stored up and treated for stability for said gas generator or propane generator? Do you have water stored up so that you can drink? Because after 3 days, this municipal water supply is gone. You have a water bottle for like $35 on Amazon. You can get a big plastic thing with a little plastic pump that you can fill up in your bathtub and get about 55, 60 gallons of water in your bathtub. Well, if you watched previous video on water, which, did I put that back up? No. Oh yeah, that's right. YouTube pulled that off because YouTube's gay. I have it. I will repost probably sometime this week. But I say you need, for a family of 4, 15 gallons of water per day. Well, that 55 to 60 gallons, that's going to get you almost 4 days. And if you've got cases of bottled water, and if you've got the 40 gallons to 80 gallons in your water heater, you can almost survive a 2-week stint without water. So, also on power, there was an article that came out from the New York Post, and for the life of me now, because I didn't have the notes on this, I just just remembered about it while I was talking about electricity. The New York Post posted an article yesterday saying basically you should prepare for an 18-month long blackout. 18 months, no power. And a few years back, Department of Energy said in the first 12 months without power, 90% of people will die. predictive programming much. So yeah, back up your power, have manual systems, find alternatives. Heading over to the Middle East, Iranian President Pezeshkian and Speaker of Parliament, I'm going to butcher his name, Gahalibaf, I'm going to call him Galahad. Speaker Galahad and President Pezeshkian. There was a video circulating to interwebs and the news media right now stating that they are pressing for Iran to end the conflict with the United States, stating that it's best to do this while they are in a position of power. And while I will agree 100% that they are in the position of power, they control the strait, despite what your president, Donald J. Trump, says. They control the strait. It is Iranian and Omanian territory, not the Strait of America. But I'm going to say that these videos are AI slop. And my reasoning for that is, if it was real, I don't think the IRGC, which is whom is pushing all of this, they're the ones who are perpetuating and supposedly violating all of the ceasefires, the Memorandum of Understanding, which expired Monday. They're under the control of the Ayatollah. They believe that they need to destroy Israel for the 13th Imam to return. So they're looking at this like, hey, this is our revelation kicking off. So I think if it was legitimate, these two are on camera saying these things, I think the IRGC would have gone. But that's just my theory. I have nothing to back that up. Well, how does that affect you? Well, if it's true and they are actually successful in orchestrating a permanent ceasefire to these hostilities, then less of our children will go over there and bleed and die. Up next, let's see. This is a list, so I got to be careful. Turkey, Saudi Arabia, and the United Arab Emirates and Pakistan are all on record basically standing up to Israel for their treatment of Gaza and their settlement plans. Well, several of these countries are part of the Abraham Accords, so I would say that the Abraham Accords, are falling apart. Rumor is that Egypt, Indonesia, Jordan, and Qatar are also more quietly standing up to Israel for this, which several of them are also in the Abraham Accords. So it looks like the Abraham Accords, which is basically the plan for Greater Israel / the Israeli control over the Middle East Economic Zone. It looks like it's blowing up. And I don't blame them. Israel is a very unreliable witness and ally. Let's list some of these ways. Israel has 28 to 32 non-compliance citations for UN resolutions. The UN, which is the body that was basically propped up and then paid for to create the state of Israel. Not the children of Israel, but the state of Israel. They have violated the ceasefire with Lebanon over 15,000 times. They have over 2,400 violations of the ceasefire with Gaza just between October 25 and April 26th, plus countless accusations of failure to render aid or hindering aid. Let's not forget the Goldie but Goodie June 67 attack on the USS Liberty. 1985, Jonathan Pollard, a U.S. civil engineer, is busted sending military secrets over to Israel. Israel's refusal to document and make public their nuclear weapons capability. My personal favorite, we send a lot of gear, whether it be Israel buys it or we give it or lend lease or whatever. We send a lot of gear to Israel, military. They have been busted on many, many occasions of selling said gear. Israel can't be trusted. Now, I'm not saying that the Muslims can be trusted. Our number one Muslim ally, Saudi Arabia, well, that was the home of the supposed 9/11 terrorists, 9 of the 11 of them. Peculiar. Don't quote me on those numbers, because I'm just kind of ranting now at this point, and I don't have the data in front of me because, road. Got to pay attention to the road. Don't be like Mudface and talk to a camera and read notes. The other big one that popped up last night, and I touched on it in my short. If you're not watching my shorts, the X Quick Hitters, I think they're fire, but I'm kind of biased. It's YouTube short, roughly 1 minute of, hey, these are the top 3 news stories that I just found in a 5-second dig on YouTube, on X. I usually do them at night. However, lately YouTube is being gay and has not allowed me to share them until the next day. And for some reason keeps making everything private. So I got to figure that out. So yeah, the EPA announced that under the direction of Donald J. Trump, the switch over to winter fuel will be happening sooner than expected. Well, the reason for this is they are running low on crude. And they're trying to combat the high prices. So winter fuel takes a little less crude to process, and it costs less to do. That's why usually in the winter time your gas prices are lower than they are in the summer. So in an effort to extend our crude supply and keep the prices at the pump as low as they can leading up to the midterms, they are authorizing this switchover sooner. Now, I think it's more about the pricing than it is the extension of the crude. But, and the reason it's more about pricing than extending the supply of crude is winter fuel is more volatile, it evaporates faster, which is why they have the switch. So they tell us. Sorry, backing into a parking spot here. Gotta focus. I don't have a backup camera. That shit's for the birds. All right. So they're switching over. I think this is the first sign that you are going to see of the impending fuel shortage that I talked about 3 weeks ago in a short. I was a week early. I said 2 weeks. It's been 3. But hey, the strategic reserve is quickly approaching the formerly well-known threshold of 170 million barrels. They basically, up until this year, they said 170 million barrels in the strategic reserve is the the lowest we can let it get. And well, last week they were down to $2.90. Get what you need. Stock up on some fuel. A couple 5-gallon cans, whatnot. Put some stable in there, stabilizer. Make sure you're storing it properly in federally approved containers. But you're gonna need it. You're gonna need it. I am glad that I filled up on the heating oil when I did, because it's gone up $2 a gallon since I did. 300 gallons of heating oil, which is number 2 off-road diesel. Now to figure out how to make that stretch through the winter without having to do another fill up. And I've got backup plans. So get what you need. I'm gonna go in here and go to work. Y'all have a good day.